this tutorial, this will be the finished result that you will be looking for. So this is the left-hand side of my bolt culotte, and this is your front leg panel, and this is the way that the pocket will be finished. So before you decide what fabric to use for your pocket, I just want to point out that you should use self fabric here for your facing pieces. Now the reason that I recommend that is that when you sew along here, if you use self fabric, it will help to hide any imperfections that you might have in your sewing. You can go as wild as you like on the actual pocket bag. So here you can see that I've got a blue and white dot, and the actual dotted printed side will be the side that will be visible when you put your hand inside the pocket. The reverse of this is just the plain side of the printed fabric. So you can choose whatever you like. I would recommend a lightweight cotton, and I certainly wouldn't go any heavier than the fabric that you use on your outer piece of the culotte. You will have already created your front pleat by matching together the two notches, folding the fabric and then stitching along the top. You can put this leg panel to one side and grab your pocket bag pieces. So here we have our pocket bag, here we have facing F and facing G. Now these pieces may look very strange to you, so let me just tell you a little bit of background about why they are the way that they are. So I've worked with a lot of factories in the past, and traditionally you may be used to having a curved pocket bag. This is made of one piece and more straighter lines so that it creates greater fabric efficiency, so there is less fabric waste, because these pieces can tessellate and fit together much better than curved pieces. Now what you need to do is you need to take these edges here and fold them under by 1.5 centimetres, which is the seam allowance. So what you can do is you can pin them in place. Now once you've pinned them in place, grab your iron and give these pinned edges a good iron. Don't be afraid to use some steam to create a really nice crisp edge. Once you've ironed those pieces, you can remove the pins. This will make it easier for when you come to top stitch these pieces. Now position these facings onto your pocket bag piece. And pin these in place. Now remember, this is your left leg panel that I'm showing you here. So if you copy me exactly, then you should be okay. So pop in as many pins as you feel that you need and secure these in place. And then next, very neatly, you will edge stitch along this line here and up here, and then similarly along this side here. An edge stitch, you just want to keep your stitch around 1 or 2 mil away from the edge, and to keep it nice and neat, just follow this edge line here. I have now stitched along these edges a couple of mil, 1 to 2 mil away from the edge, and you've got a lovely neat finish here. So this probably still doesn't make any sense to you. So what you need to do now is you fold this in half, and then you're going to stitch along here and overlock this edge. Here we have it, my finished pocket bag. Now don't worry if you don't have an overlocker, you can simply zigzag stitch along this edge. It's just to stop the material from fraying and give you a nice neat finish. Now what you need to do is turn your pocket bag this way and position this over this diagonal edge. So you're matching up the two diagonal lines. and the right sides of the fabric are touching each other. Pin this in place, just a couple of pins will do. And you're now going to stitch along this diagonal edge at 1.5 centimetre seam allowance or 5/8 of an inch, all the way to this point here. Here you now have the pocket bag with the lovely top stitching here, and you can see that has created a lovely neat edge there, and even without pressing it, it creates a crisp finish. And that's why it's really important that your facing fabric matches your outer fabric, because now you won't see any of that patterned fabric and it all looks really nice and neat. The final thing to do is just pin these in place. You want this to lay nice and flat. Should be no creases or bumps. And then just seal it off at the top by adding a row of top stitching about 1/2 centimetre from the top of this garment. And that will then be your finished pocket bag.